Hello.
Zones are under control.
Give you a pat. There you go. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. With the new Battle Pass starting soon, I thought I would go through the challenges that are in this season of the Battle Pass Strength Athletics and basically go through how I'm going to approach them to try and maybe give you a few tips and tricks on how to approach them too. Now remember, there is a fundamental change when it comes to the regular season challenges. They will not be there all of the season. They will only be there for 3 weeks at a time to be able to complete. So make sure that you are on top of this, otherwise you may miss some challenges if you leave them for a little bit too long. Now generally for the other challenges of the other 2 seasons, the challenges were a little bit harder in the other 2 seasons, and also I was able to do them within the 3-week period. So hopefully with these new challenges you should be able to too. And the majority of the challenges aren't too bad, you know, they're pretty simple. There are a few which are a little bit dodgy, but, you know, you expect that when it comes to a Battle Pass. Anyway, let's get into those challenges. So the first challenge is Squat, and what you have to do is destroy or help allied players to destroy a specific number of vehicles, and that number of vehicles is 150. So you basically have to get 150 kills and or assists in the period of 3 weeks. So if you just do your dailies, which obviously are for the Battle Pass anyway, and also your special tasks, you'll get this along the way. This is not really one to worry about. This one will just happen over time. Number 2 is pole pushing, and it is win a specified number of battles while being ranked first place in the team, and you need 3 battles for this. So once again, this will just happen over time, and you have 3 weeks to be able to win a battle and come first. You will have in-game comfort picks that you enjoy at rank 3 or above. Certain lineups which are incredibly fun, especially for ground stuff, such as 5-3 for America, 5-7, even 6-3 for America. For Germany, 5-3 with their Tigers and Panthers, which are incredibly fun. Britain has a very strong 7-3 lineup or a 7-7 lineup. The Soviets, of course, have access to a amazing 4-3 lineup. The Japanese have a great 4-7 lineup. The Chinese with their 3-7 and 5-7 lineups, and then of course France with their 3-7 lineup. There is a ton of ground BRs at rank 3 or above, which are really, really good and really strong. And I would highly recommend doing them if you are struggling with the first place for the third, or for the 3 battles. The other thing that you can do is you can ground pound, so you can take a CAS aircraft which has a lot of munitions, something like the IL-2M 1943, which has 323mm shells, plus the 1500 7.62s. You can go and ground pound in an aerialistic battle, and just take out light targets, stay away from the enemy, and hopefully your team can carry you, and then you will be able to end up first because you'll have so many ground kills. You'll have around 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 score. So if that is your preferred method, if you struggle in the killing department against players, you can always do the PvE part in aerialistic and get your first places there. It's a little bit less guaranteed because you can't control if you win or you lose, but at the same time, at least you get it done. Another thing to also mention is right now there is a decal on offer for the Soviets where you need to get first places in air vehicles, so I would highly recommend using stuff like the IL-2M to be able to get this done. Then we have the Farmer's Walk, where what you have to do is you have to only kill 10 vehicles with a tank gun with a caliber of at least 150 millimeters. Now, you do have a bunch of options here that you can pick. Generally, what you're looking at is either the American lineup at 8.0 with the M68-2, the Sheridan as well. Both of them have 152 millimeter guns. The other one, of course, is the FV4005. That always has to be put in here with its 183 millimeter. There is quite a few low ranking large caliber guns, but I'm not entirely sure if they are actually picked when it comes to this, because it might be rank 3 or higher, just like the standard one is. The Type 75 SPH is also another vehicle that could easily be used in, but at the same time, that one's always a bit of a rough one, right? Because of its unreliability. But those are three options. You know, the strongest one is the M60 and also the Sheridan. But remember, you only have to get 10 kills over 3 weeks. It's not a huge thing. It's something that you're going to have to plan ahead for, though. You're going to have to get these vehicles researched in order to be able to get this done. And the other ones, you know, you have the T30 if you have that from a previous event, and then also the Lorraine 155 is another one that you could easily get your hands on. But make sure to research one of these vehicles in time for the challenge to get it finished. Number 4 is throws, and what you have to do is destroy 5 enemy vehicles with each specified weapon. And the specified weapons are 800 or plus kilogram bomb and 200 or plus kilogram rocket. Now, there isn't a ton of these in game when it comes to each of them, but the 800 kilo bomb one, I think this is really set up for the actual Japanese. The Japanese have an 800 kilo bomb, and it's present on stuff like the B7A2. And as I said, you have that lineup of the 4.7 that you can use in ground for the Japanese, and you can bring along the B7A2 and then hit somebody with the 800 kilo bomb. The 800 kilo bomb has an explosive mass of 390 kilos within a TNT equivalent of 429 kilos. It's very hard to be able to miss with it, and you know, it's basically a guaranteed kill. So all you have to do is do that 5 times while you're in normal matches, and Bob's your uncle. You're able to get that done. You could also meme with it, you know, the P8 exists if you want to give that a bit of a go. You also have the cookie from the British with stuff like the Wellingtons or even the Lancaster if you want to try that in ground forces. And when it comes to the 200 kilo rockets, once again, not many options, but the one that I would personally go for is the Tiny Tims. The Tiny Tims are present on a bunch of American vehicles. The F6Fs have them, and they have a mass of 534 kilos with an explosive mass of 67 kilos. Now, I would actually take these into naval, into the coastal area of 3.7, and the reason for this is because you get a lot of small boats in naval around that BR if you're playing the PT boats for America. And what ends up happening is you can one-shot them with the Tiny Tims. As long as you understand the accuracy of them and all of that, you can do really well. Another thing is you can use the Tiny Tims in ground realistic. It's really easy to kill AA now with the overpressure mechanic. You just have to land the Tiny Tim anywhere near the enemy, and you will do tons of damage and kill them pretty simply. So you find the Tiny Tims on stuff such as the Bearcats, the Hellcats, and many other vehicles as well. Those would be my picks for this achievement. And remember, you don't need a ton of kills with this stuff. You only need 5 each, so it shouldn't be too hard to get. Next one is Tug of War, and it's finish a specified number of battles while destroying at least one other player's vehicle, and this is 75 battles. So 75 battles over a 3-week period. You're going to be doing this anyway if you're doing your dailies and your specials for the battle pass. It's another one you don't have to worry about, you'll just do it over time anyway. Then we have Duck Walk, and this is destroy a specified number of player vehicles using a coastal vessel gun with a caliber of at least 75 millimeters. And so you have to kill 30 vehicles with the 75mm or more caliber guns. Now, this one's a little bit harder because there aren't actually a ton of options when it comes to guns that you can actually use. For the Americans, you have the 3-inch gun, which you can find on the Asheville, which is available. That's going to be about it, unfortunately. So unless you have the Asheville, you're kind of out of luck. For Germany, it's probably the easiest to get this done. You have the Schwer, the SF40. This has 4 88mm flak 36 cannons on it. This basically means that you can, one-tap a lot of coastal machines. That would actually be my pick to go for this, just getting the Schwer and annihilating stuff. You also have the AFD 3 and also the AFD 1, so you could run a 3-3 lineup with those three and then just kill stuff with them. The AFD 3 is actually really fun to play. The main reason is it actually gets access to the overpressure like hull break mechanic thing, so you can one-tap naval boats with it, which leads to a lot of great kills. So that would be a stellar lineup to use here. When it comes to USSR, you really don't have a lot of options. The Groza is there, and also I believe the frigates, since this is, I don't even know if the frigates are known as a coastal gun. They might not even, I mean, they're technically in the coastal fleet, but at the same time, are they labeled as them? I mean, if they are, then, stuff like the PR-35, the PR-159, they are great picks, and also the PR-50, if you have that. But the Groza is the main one to go for at 3.3, since you'll face a lot of smaller ships, so you can donk them with the 102s. When it comes to Britain, you don't have many options. I suppose the Isle class and the Flower class, if it allows rank 2s in, you can use them. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world, though. And then you've also got the Peacock that you can use, and the Whitby, which are both very high BR vehicles, or high-ranking vehicles that not a ton of people will have researched. And then for Japan, you really, once again, don't have a lot of options. The basic options that you have are the Type K8 1944, and that's really about it until you get to the Chikugo and also the Chidori, where you could use both of them, plus the Sionen, the Ikazuchi, and also the Isuzu. So very high ranking, very high RP vehicles. If my pick would definitely be Germany in this regard for the 3-3 lineup. That's the one to go for. Hopefully you can get it done. Then you've got Loading Race, which is destroy a specified number of player vehicles using an aircraft offensive armament with a caliber of at least 35mm. Now this one's a little bit rough because most or the majority of vehicles in the game have access to 30mm, 20mm, or 7.62s or 12.7s, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. There are vehicles which you can use here, either in an air sense or a ground sense. The picks for me would be the American P63s. They have access to a 37mm. I don't know whether it counts the 12.7s alongside the 37, like which one is actually going to count as actually killing the thing. So maybe just firing the 37mm by itself, maybe that's the way to get it done, but we'll have to see how it counts this. Also at the same time, it's only 15 vehicles you have to kill, so it won't take too long over a 3-week period. But yeah, the P63s are definitely ones to go for, rank 3 for America. For the Soviets as well, you have of course the classic Yak-9T with its 37mm, and you also have higher stuff as well that you can use, such as the Yak-9UT. That's one that you can bring out and get this done. And even when it comes to the MiGs, which are later on, like the MiG-15, MiG-15 bis, the MiG-9s, the MiG-17, they all have access to a 37, which could be used for this idea. So there's plenty of options for air or ground attack. Hopefully you don't have to resort to something like the Duck to be able to get this done. Deadlift is next, and it's win a specified number of battles, 50 battles. You'll do this while doing everything else, so don't worry about it. You'll just get it done alongside dailies and specials. No need to even try anything different with this. Super Yoke is next, and you have to destroy a specified number of player vehicles using a heavy tank, and you have to destroy 50. So this one you'll do over time, as long as you use heavy tanks. My recommendation is the 6-7 lineup for America, with the T-34 and the T-26. You also have the T-32s that you could throw in if you want to go a little bit higher BR, but I would advise against it just because of the additional armor of the enemies. You also have the 6-7 lineup for Germany, Tiger 2H, Tiger 2P, always very strong, especially with their guns, or the 5-3 lineup or 5-7 lineup with the Tiger E and the Tiger H and all of the other heavy tank premiums that go along with it. With other nations as well, you could even go for Britain with the Churchills, you know, the Churchill 7 and Churchill 3, run them together and give it a go. And the Soviets have a power lineup at 4.3, as we talked about, with access to the KV-1. You could even go a little bit higher if you wanted to, with the IS-1 and IS-2 at 5.7 to have a little bit of fun with them. But yeah, just stack at least 2 heavy tanks together in a lineup and then just go shoot things. It won't take you too long to get this one. You know, it's only 50 kills over a 3-week period. You'll be able to do it. Just use the T-34 from the Americans, or use the Tiger for the Germans. Husafell Stone is next, and all you have to do is destroy or help allied players to destroy a specified number of player vehicles using the Battle Pass season vehicles. So you have 30 vehicles that you have to either kill and or assist with. So this is once again a simple one. You just have to use the Battle Pass vehicles that you ground out to this point. This also, I believe, is there for the whole season of the Battle Pass, so this isn't just a 3-week challenge. The seasonal challenges will not be changed, so they'll be there all the way through the season themselves, and those are the ones that you actually unlock in the Battle Pass. And remember, so you have the M6A2E1, the Toldi-2A, the Voroshilov, and also the P39Q25. And the free one is the P39Q25, so even by this time in the Battle Pass you should have access to the free P39Q, so you can use that to be able to get the 30 kills and or assists, but I think this one should be pretty easy. Obviously the Toldi would probably be the easiest to do it with since it's the lowest BR. I'm just gonna go around and play the different ones and have a bit of fun with it and try different stuff, and yeah, just probably the M6 is the one to go for. But all you have to do is just get kills and assists in the Battle Pass vehicles. Shouldn't be too hard, just might take a little bit of time if you only have the P39, but you'll get it done. Next one is Fingals Fingers, and it's achieved the number of specified kill streaks, so you need to get 20 achievements at Professional. So this is when you get 5 or more kills in a battle. Every time you get 5 kills, you'll get the Professional award. If you get 6, you'll get Professional ×2. If you get 7, you'll get Professional ×3. So basically you just have to get a lot of kills in games, whichever lineups favor you in this regard, especially in ground or naval. Whether you like stuff like the Shimakaze for naval, which is really good for torpedo kills, whether you like stuff in ground, such as the 3-7 French lineup, the 7-3 British lineup, the 6-7 American lineup, the 5-3 German lineup, the 7-3 German lineup. There is a ton of them which are really good. Just pick one of the meta lineups that we've talked about in the past, have a bit of fun with it, and go ham. I wouldn't do this in air realistic. I would do this either in naval or I would do this in ground, just because people have more spawns, people are around the place more, and even in air arcade this would be much easier to do than something like air realistic, just because you have multiple spawns and you can get more kills. The next one is Power Stairs, and you have to destroy a specified number of player vehicles using any cruiser or battleship. So this is light cruisers, heavy cruisers, or battleships. And you have to destroy 30 people. So this is where you have to play specified vehicles, just like the heavy tank one, and you will have to grind out a blue water fleet. If you want to get to light cruisers the quickest, Probably something like the Japanese with the Kuma and the Kako are probably the easiest to get to, and also the Isuzu. You only have to go through 2 vehicles, maybe 3 vehicles to get the Isuzu, and it is also only 26,000 RP. So doing that is, if you haven't ground naval at all but need to get this challenge done, that would be the way to go. Also, the Italian cruisers are really good at 4.7. The light cruisers, the Attilio Regolo, the Bartolomeo Corleone, the Etna, and also the Trento, all 4 of these are really good because they beat up on destroyers, and yeah, they're okay against other cruisers, but they don't have any armor, so they struggle a little bit. But they're mainly vehicles which are just like heavy destroyers. They annihilate destroyers. Same with the British ones, with the HMS Enterprise, and also the Dido and the Arethusa and the Hawkins. All of these beat up destroyers, but aren't too good against other cruisers. So overall, all you got to do is just get X amount of kills, 30 kills overall. Might take a little bit of time, but if you need to get to cruisers quickly, make sure to grind out the Japanese tree or the Italian tree, since you can get to them very quickly in the Blue Water Fleet, and you can start doing this challenge. This, I think, is a challenge a lot of people are going to complain about, even though it's actually easier to do than the heavy tank challenge that is over there, which is a challenge which is exactly the same ideas as the cruiser one, but just get it done. It's 30 kills, it's not too hard. We believe in you. Get it done. Hercules Hold is next, and you have to destroy 30 player vehicles of each of the specified vehicle types. So you've got ground vehicles, air vehicles, and vessels. So you'll have to basically play each of the different game modes. You can get this done if you just play ground realistic and also naval arcade or naval realistic, but you will have to play, at least 2 of those things. And basically, you just have to play and shoot things. Maybe try and tailor your dailies and your special tasks around these ideas. Maybe you have an SBAA task, maybe you have a air-to-air task, maybe you have something like that. Maybe focus on doing the decals while doing the weekly or authentic monthly decals while doing this one, and you'll get it done. At the same time, this will just come over time as long as you remember to do the naval one. I'm sure a lot of people get the ground and air one done and then just switch over to naval battles, but remember, if you do the naval one first, you can also get a bunch of air kills while also playing naval, so it'll be easier to do when you switch over to ground realistic, and get them done in ground, and then also get some air kills. Use the air kills as the one which you'll do passively over the 2 modes, where you focus on getting ground kills and naval kills, and then finish off whichever one you haven't finished by the end. The next one, which is overhead press, is probably the most annoying achievement out of all of these. So you need to receive a specified number of these streaks, and these streaks are 5 achievements of Survivor. Now, Survivor is an award that you get in battles, and the description of it is haven't lost a single vehicle, whether aircraft or ground vehicles, whilst destroying more enemy vehicles than any other players who have not lost theirs. Should be at least 5 enemies destroyed or more. So what you have to do is you have to get Heavy Metal Hero, or you have to get something which is similar to this, and 5 kills or more, and also the most kills, and also not die, and also be the person who hasn't died with the most kills. So this is really tough. At least you only have to do it 5 times, but generally you're going to have to play quite a passive playstyle. Basically go spawn camp for a bit to get this done, or go to an area of the map which overlooks cap zones, and keep value your survivability over getting kills. It's going to be a real pain to actually work on this one, and it's really going to be annoying. At least it's not as bad as it used to be, where at least from the wording of the award right now, now. The way that the award used to be is you used to actually have to get more kills than everybody on each team, even if they had died or not. And I think they have changed that, so it's only for people who haven't died, and we'll have to see if that's actually true or not. But my god, if it is just get the most kills overall, that's also going to make it even worse. So once again, power lineups, 3-7 France, you know, you're looking for lineups here where you are super survivable as a vehicle, and also you can only spawn basically once, right? So stuff like the Lorraine 40T, stuff like the T-34, stuff like the Tiger 2H, stuff like just very powerful vehicles at their individual BRs, even stuff like the PVK V2 could be one to have a look at. But generally you just need one power vehicle that you can try and do this in. I would highly suggest something like the T-34 for America, or something like the KV-1 for the Soviets. Those are generally the ones to look for and try and get this done. But this is going to be rough. Then we have Keg Toss, and you just have to set fire to a specified number of player vehicles. This is 30 vehicles overall. You could either do this in ground or naval, it's probably the easiest. In naval, whenever, or the majority of the time you kill a target, you normally set it on fire in some way, especially if you're spamming HE and destroyers or smaller vessels, so you can just play naval and get it done as you go. When it comes to ground, you can specifically target fuel tanks and engines of enemies, and you can burn them 3 times before killing them because they have 2 FPE, so you can get it done that way if you want to do it quickly as possible. But since you have quite a long time to get this challenge done, you are just going to get it done over time. You know, 30 vehicles on fire really won't be too hard. It's also labeled as 30 vehicles instead of 30 fires, so this might actually not count multi-firing a vehicle, where, you know, just shooting the engine 3 times to get 3 different fires. And if that's the case, then once again, just target different vehicles. But it will take time. You'll get it done. It won't be too hard to do. It's just one of those over time ones. But I would actually highly recommend doing naval, because in naval you set fires to stuff all the time compared to other game modes. The next one is Atlas Stones, and you have to destroy a specified number of player vehicles while at an allied strategic point. So basically just sit on a cap, wait for people to push, and then shoot them in the face. This is easier to do in Naval Arcade. In the Coastal, you just go in a boat and you just keep circling a cap, wait for somebody to push you, rat-a-tat, and annihilate them. Then in ground, you can do the same thing. You just got to be a little bit of aware of all of the different entrances to a cap, because normally there is multiple ones, so you know you've got to make sure to hit them all. But yeah, just sit there, wait for people to push, annihilate, and then decimate, and then there you go, you're done. You only have to kill 10 as well, so it's not a huge amount. You can get it done. And the last one is Strongest, and all you have to do is complete all the season's challenges. So this is the one which will be worth 4.5 battle points, and it's the standard one that you get every time, and all you have to do is complete all the other ones. So you don't have to focus on this. This is just a nice little bonus at the end of the tunnel once you get there. Hopefully these tips will help you when it comes to approaching these season challenges. I'll also say that I will be streaming pretty much the whole period of this Battle Pass. So if you do have any questions or queries about how to play these vehicles or how to get these challenges done, make sure to ask me there, and I'll try and help as best as I can. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank BRFC, Swollen Ostrich, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Lafouche, Barine, and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.